Want to make a bracelet that spirals with elegance? Let's turn these celestial blues into a design that wraps around your wrist like the night sky. Hey there, I'm Dina. Today I'm creating a memory wire bracelet using more of the gorgeous Sodalite collection from Gemstone Orphanage. This design layers 3 sizes of Sodalite beads with crystal cubes, triangle accents, and seed beads to create a bold, flowing look that's both structured and dreamy. Alrighty, let's get this memory wire bracelet started. So I'm going to show you how to start off your memory wire. If you're not familiar with this, this is very similar to all the other memory wire bracelets that I've done in the past. I typically, if you're not familiar with it, I usually leave all of the memory wire on the spool itself, and then I work on the spool of whatever is left over. So I'm just trying to find the end of it right here. What we'll do is we're going to round this end out. And then after we round that out, we're going to go all the way over to the other side of the memory wire, do our bracelet, and then at the end I'll show you how and where to cut off, and then we'll finish it off after that. So to start off, I'm going to use my bail making pliers. You don't have to use bail making pliers. You can totally use just round nose pliers. Perfectly fine to do. I just use the bail making pliers so that way I know it's the same size loop every time I do it. So I'm going to put the memory wire in the middle of the loop. I'm using this second step on the memory wire, or the bail making pliers, and then I'm going to twist inwards. You can also twist outwards if you like. I just tend to break the memory wire too frequently, so I usually twist inwards like that until you have one complete loop. You can do 2 if you like, just as well. Just always make sure that the top of the memory wire, or that very beginning of the memory wire, is at the top of your loop. Now we're going to bend this backwards so that way it sits a little bit more evenly. So put your pliers back in there, and then just rest the smaller of the 2, so the first step on the bail making pliers up against the edge of your wire, and then just push backwards. And when you do that, it allows your loop to sit more evenly in the center of the loop itself. Just like that. Alrighty, so now we'll go through the first pattern, and then just like on all my other memory wires, I usually have 3 different patterns, or I will have 1 pattern, and then I'll have a second pattern, and then I will come back and either repeat the first one again or do something very, very similar to the first one after that. And I'm just trying to get to the very end. Sometimes these wires get all tangled up against each other, so just trying to get it all untangled. Alright, so let me move my pliers out of the way so I don't drop those on my feet. So, pattern number 1, we're going to start off with a 4mm Sodalite bead. You always want to start off with a larger bead and not with a seed bead, so that way if the seed bead itself gets wrapped up in this loop itself, it might fall off. If that happens, sometimes that can mess up the spacing in your wire bracelet, and sometimes that can mess things up. So that's why I always start off with a larger bead. So start off with a 4mm of your Sodalites. Then we're going to use some of the seed beads from the seed bead mix. Now this seed bead, I'll pick up a couple of them so that way you can see which one it is. This one is the Ceylon Blue color out of the 11-0 seed bead mix that came in the Sodalite kit. And pick up a couple of these so you can see what it is. We're only going to be picking up 1, I'm just showing you which one it is. So it's kind of like the baby blue color of the 11-0 mix. So that's the one that we're going to be using. So we're just going to be picking up 1 of those. The next one is one of the whites in the 11-0 mix. Then we're going to pick up 1 of the cubes. These are going to be the imitation jade, little small 2.5mm cubes from the kit that we're going to be using. Then we're going to go backwards. We're going to pick up another white and then another Ceylon. So that essentially is your first pattern. So you're going to put on your Sodalite 4mm round, a Ceylon Blue 11-0, a white 11-0, your 2.5mm cube, a white 11-0, and a Ceylon 11-0. So we'll do this one more time, just so you can see the differences in what it looks like when you have more than one pattern on there. And then you just want to make sure that whenever you're done with this pattern that you have 17 of your Sodalite beads on. So you're going to start with a Sodalite and then you're going to end with a Sodalite. So there is the first 2 rounds of the first pattern. So go ahead and complete this part, meet me back, and then I will show you the middle pattern. Alright, so this is the way that your memory wire bracelet should look so far. So these are 17 of our 4mm Sodalite beads on. We started with the Sodalite and we're ending with the Sodalite. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and push these all the way down to the other end of your memory wire bracelet. And then we'll get set up for the next round. Gotta go all the way back over here to the other end. So pardon me for just a moment while I follow the loops back over. This was a brand new package of memory wire, so I have all 12 loops on this memory wire already. And going back, almost there. That's one bad thing about memory wire. It does that. Alrighty, so let's get on to the pattern for the middle one. So the middle one, we're going to start off with one of our crystals. This is going to be the triangle crystal that comes in the kit. So we have a triangle, then we're going to have the little white rondelles, then we're going to do a cube again, then we're going to do a a rondelle, and then the next one would be a triangle. Okay, and then we're going to end with one of our 6mm Sodalites. Then we're going to do this pattern where it is the triangle, rondelle, cube, rondelle, triangle, and one of our Sodalites. We're going to do 3 of the 6mm Sodalites, then we're going to do 3 of the 8mm Sodalites, and then we're going to go back to 3 of the 6mm. So we're going to start and end on this crystal right here. So we're going to make sure that it's the triangle crystal that's at the start and at the end. So I'll do one more round of these. Then I'll let you break off and finish this portion of the bracelet. So triangle, rondelle, cube, rondelle, once I can find the hole to it, and a triangle. And then a Sodalite, either a 6mm or an 8mm, depending on where you're at. So then that is 2 rounds of the middle pattern. So go ahead and complete this out. Like I said, make sure that you're starting with a triangle crystal and you're ending with a triangle crystal. Meet me back, and then we'll do a refresher on the first round, and then after that I'll show you how to finish off your memory wire. Alrighty, so this is how the memory wire should look now that you've got the middle section done. You got everything all pushed down and all, and then there would be the middle of your bracelet. So it's looking pretty cool. I'm liking this so far. Alright, so just a quick little refresher on what your first round was again. So remember, we always started with a Sodalite bead, and then we're going to end with a Sodalite. So you're going to need 17 more of your Sodalite beads. And then we did a Ceylon 11-0, which is that light blue color again. The white 11-0, the crystal, white 11-0, and Ceylon 11-0. And then you end with another Sodalite bead. So go ahead and get that first round done one more time, and push all your beads down to the end, and then come back and I will show you how to cut off your memory wire, and we'll get this bracelet finished. Alright, so this is looking pretty cool so far. So here is the memory wire bracelet. So make sure that you have all of your beads pushed down to the end already down here. You want to make sure that you don't have any large gaps of your beads. So you just look at pull it apart like this and kind of look at your pattern, make sure that you didn't miss any beads. Also make sure that you don't have any large gaps. You want to have just a little bit of gaps every once in a while, which is perfectly fine, so that way the beads can move around and they won't crack as easily, especially the crystals. So make sure that they're all pushed down and they're as tight as you want it to be. And I have the last Sodalite bead sitting on the edge of my finger. I always use this as just a gauge because I know this is about the same amount that I need. Get your memory wire cutters out. Always have to use memory wire cutters on memory wire. You use normal cutters on memory wire, you're going to ruin them very, very fast. So use memory wire cutters. Put the cutters up against the other side of your finger like this and cut. So now it is free of the memory wire. So put the cutters off to the side, get your bail making pliers back out, and we're going to do the same thing that we did in the beginning. We're going to put the memory wire in the middle of the two. I'm going to use the second step again to make another loop. And then just twirl it around until you get the end of the memory wire towards the top. Rest your memory wire back in there, and then put the smallest step up against the edge of the memory wire and turn backwards. Then that makes that little loop again stand in the middle of the memory wire. And then after that, you now have a completed memory wire bracelet. And get it in the center. That's what it looks like on the wrist. This bracelet came together like a soft spiral of stardust, grounded by Sodalite's deep blues and lifted by the sparkle of crystal and seed beads. I love how memory wire gives the design both movement and structure, and every element from this kit had a place to shine. If you've adopted your gemstone and grabbed this collection, I hope this project gives you ideas for how to let those pieces tell their own story. And while I haven't quite decided what's next, I'm leaning towards a necklace that ties it all together, so be sure to stick around to see where this journey leads. And don't forget, if you'd like to explore the extras from this collection, you can still use my discount code DINA10 to save 10% at checkout. This design layers three sizes of Sodalite beads with This bracelet came together like a soft spiral of stardust. If you adopted your gemstone and grabbed this collection, I hope this project gives you ideas for how to let these pieces. Okay. If you've adopted, I can't. I'm getting tired. If you've adopted, gosh, I'm leaning towards a necklace that ties it all together. So be sure to stick around. And while I haven't quite decided what's next, I'm leaning towards a necklace? What's a necklace? So be sure to stick around to see what this journey leads. What this journey leads? Why am I not reading words?